Good morning Year 6 and welcome back. I hope you've all had a lovely half term. This week we're going to start off with continuing to learn about volume. All of the tasks, video links and presentations that I mentioned this week can be found on Teams. Right, let's start with our Fluent 5 for today. So make sure you set yourself a 5-minute timer to answer the questions. Once you're ready, off you go. Okay, well done. Let's have a look at the answers for today. Please pause the video and mark your work. Okay, I'm just going to very quickly just talk about B, where we're multiplying fractions. So just a reminder, when we multiply fractions, we multiply across. We multiply the numerators. 2 times 1 is 2, and we multiply the denominators. 5 times 2 is 10, giving me 2/10, which I can then simplify, okay, because I can divide them both by 2 to give me 1/5, okay, or you may have used the cancellation method at this stage, where you cancel the first numerator and second denominator down to 1, and then multiplied across to give you 1/5. But well done. Please make sure you keep a record of your scores for Fluent 5 and add them onto the assessment document for Friday to be uploaded for your teachers to see. Right, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to start off this week, we're going to be continuing to learn about volume. So before half term, we started learning about volume. So because it's been half term, let's just do a little bit of a quick recap. Okay, so I've just put on this slide here, which can also be found in the presentation, some of the important bits from the last volume week. Okay, so just remembering that the volume of a solid is the amount of space that it occupies. We looked at measurements such as 1 cubic centimetre and 1 cubic metre. Okay, the 1 cubic metre being bigger. And then towards the end of the week before half term, we started to look at finding the volume of cubes and cuboids. Okay, and the way that we would do that is by following this formula: length times width times height. Okay, so we had this example here where we had a cube. All of the length, width and heights are the same, and they are equal. So to work out the volume of this cube, I would do 6 times 6 times 6, okay, which gives me 216 cubic centimetres. Okay, so just remembering to multiply length by width times height. So today we are going to be finding the volume of liquid. Okay, so we're going to need to apply our knowledge of finding the volume of solids to now finding the volume of liquid. Okay, so here in my picture, I have a 10 by 10 by 10 centimetre plastic container. Okay, if you have access to something that measures 10 by 10 by 10 centimetres at home, you could do this next bit that I'm going to talk through actually practically with some water and a container, but unfortunately I didn't have access to a 10 by 10 by 10 centimetre container, so I'm just going to show you pictorially. Okay, and this container here is filled to the brim with water, and if I wanted to work out the volume of water in this container, I would do my length times width times height. Okay, so I would do 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, and I know that 10 times 10 is 100 and 100 times 10 is 1,000. Okay, so the volume of water in the container is 1,000 cubic centimetres. If I was then to take those 1,000 cubic centimetres of water and pour it into a jug, okay, where I can then measure how much water there is, it would equal 1,000 millilitres. Okay, so 1,000 millilitres, we know, is the same as 1 litre. Okay, so 1,000 cubic centimetres is equivalent to 1,000 millilitres. Or 1 litre. Oops, there we go. 1 litre. Okay, so if we know that these are equivalent, if I think of some other measurements, so if I think of 1 millilitre, have a think. What is 1 millilitre equivalent to in volume? It would be 1 cubic centimetre. If I had 10 millilitres of water, oh dear, 10 millilitres of water, what would that be equivalent to in volume? It would be 10 cubic centimetres. Okay, now I'd like you to have a go at practicing finding the equivalents. Okay, so I want you to have a look at question 11 and question 12. Question 11, you're finding the equivalents to write in cubic centimetres, and question 12, finding the litres and millilitres. So pause the video and have a go. Okay, let's see how you got on. So 11A, okay, was 850 millilitres. If I'm to convert that into cubic centimetres, it would be 850 cubic centimetres. B, 2 litres. Okay, so here I need to think, what is 2 litres the same as in millilitres here? So 2 litres would be 2,000 millilitres. So in cubic centimetres, it would be 2,000 cubic centimetres. Okay, C, 4 litres and 55 millilitres. Okay, once again converting the litres into millilitres. 4 litres would be 4,000 millilitres. So I'd have 4,055 millilitres. Converting into cubic centimetres would be 4,055 cubic centimetres. D, 12 litres and 5 millilitres. Once again, 12 litres would be 12,000 millilitres. Okay, and then I've got an extra 5 millilitres. Converting those into cubic centimetres would be 12,005 cubic centimetres. So I don't know if you've got those correct so far. Then question 12, this time the other way around, converting into litres and millilitres. So 530 cubic centimetres, converting it would be in millilitres, so that would be 530 millilitres. B, 1,025 cubic centimetres, if I convert it into millilitres first, would be 1,025 millilitres. I know that there's 1,000 millilitres in 1 litre, so I would have 1 litre and 25 millilitres. C, 7,005 cubic centimetres, convert it into millilitres again, is 7,005 millilitres. So therefore I've got 7 litres and 5 millilitres. And finally, 15,060 cubic centimetres. If I convert it first of all into millilitres, would be 15,060. Thinking how many litres have I got? I've got 15 litres. How many millilitres are left? I've got 60 millilitres left. Well done. Okay, let's have a look at this question here, question 14. So we are told that a cuboid has its length, width and height measured in whole centimetres. Its volume is 120 cubic centimetres and its length is 5 centimetres. Okay, so I can picture that, a cuboid with a length of 5 centimetres and its volume is 120 cubic centimetres. Copy the table and fill in possible values of the width and height of the cuboid. Okay, so if I think of a cuboid, not drawn very accurately. Ooh. Something a bit like that. Okay, obviously it would be a lot more accurate, but I know that my length is 5 centimetres. Okay, I know that the volume is 120 cubic centimetres, but I don't know what the width is or the height. So they're the two values that we need to see if we can find. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pause the video. Can you find possible values? Okay, and then once you've had a go, unpause the video and we'll see how we got on. Off you go. Okay, let's see how you got on. So hopefully the first thing that you did, okay, was recognise that obviously using the formula length times width times height means that for this cuboid here, we had 5 times something equals 120. Okay, so if I just write that out for us so we can see it, times something equals 120. Okay, so first thing I need to do to help me work out what these are is to use my inverse. So I would need to do 120 divided by 5, okay, because I need to do the opposite. 120 divided by 5 is 24. So that tells me that these two numbers, okay, the product of the width times the height needs to give me an answer of 24. Okay, so now I need to think, well, what times what can equal 24? A simple one. First of all, I know that 1 times 24 equals 24. So that could be one of my options. And once again, this could be flipped around. The width could be 24 and the height could be 1. Okay. Another pair of numbers that could be multiplied together to give me 24. Okay. I recognise that 24 is an even number, so I know that it can be multiplied by 2. 2 times what equals 24? 2 times 12. Okay, and then I'm going to continue going through. Okay, I also then found that 3 times 8 equals 24 and 4 times 6 equals 24. Okay, so those are my possible answers. But remember, once again, you may have flipped those round, okay, because it could be 6 for the width and 4 for the height, and that would work for any of them. Okay, they are interchangeable, those values, but well done. What I'd like you to do now is to have a go at today's tasks for session 1, okay, which can be found under Microsoft Teams. The task that you will complete, okay, is to do with volume of liquid. The additional tasks are a bit of combination, also looking at volume of cubes and cuboids, okay, so make sure you read the questions carefully. And then if you watch tomorrow's video, I will give you the answers. Good luck.